everyone, Namaskar. Welcome to today's lecture. In this session, we will take a detailed look at one of the most powerful mechanisms of vocabulary expansion in Assamese, word formation through derivational morphology. This topic is central not only to linguistic analysis but also to achieving a level of fluency that approaches that of a native speaker. When learners begin studying a language, vocabulary is often treated as a list of isolated words that must be memorized. However, this approach is both inefficient and incomplete. Languages are structured systems and words are not random entities. They're built from smaller meaningful units. Once we understand how words are formed, we gain the ability to decode unfamiliar expressions, generate new words, and use language more creatively and accurately. In Assamese, derivational morphology plays a crucial role in expanding the lexicon. Through the use of prefixes and suffixes, new lexical items are formed from existing bases, often involving a shift in meaning or grammatical category. In today's lecture, we will explore a set of important derivational affixes in Assamese. In the derivational category of suffixes, we can find ia, ok, a, ia or ua, ta or ota, I, oni, oti, ria, oria, ali, and so on. Whereas in the derivational category of prefixes, we can find ni, nir, or nik, and so on. In this lesson, we examine each of these in detail with multiple examples, structural explanations, and usage patterns. Prior to understanding derivational morphology, it is important to distinguish derivation from inflection. Inflectional morphology modifies a word to express grammatical categories such as tense, number, or case without changing the core meaning or lexical identity. For example, the forms khabo, khaisil, and khale of the verb kha meaning eat, indicating different types of tense and aspect, are inflectional. Derivational morphology, on the other hand, creates a new word. It often changes the meaning of an existing word significantly, may change the word class, and results in a new lexical entry. For example, we can derive the word horolota. Horolota means simplicity from the word horol, which means simple. Here, an adjective, that is horol, turns into an abstract noun, that is horolota, by adding the derivational suffix ota. This is clearly derivation. Let us now see all the derivational suffixes and prefixes one by one with examples. Let's start with the suffix ia. It indicates relational and identity-based derivation. It is highly productive in Assamese and is used to derive relational nouns and adjectives. It often expresses belonging, origin, profession, or habitual association. For example, Ohomia. Ohomia means Assamese, from Ohom. Ohom, which means Assam. And Paharia, meaning hill dweller or belonging to hills, from pahar, which means hill. Okhomia, meaning Assamese, is formed by combining Okhom, which means Assam, with the suffix ia. Structurally, a noun becomes a relational noun or adjective. The derived meaning is belonging to Assam. Paharia, meaning hill dweller or belonging to hills, comes from pahar, meaning hill, with the same derivational suffix ia. The derived word, that is paharia, refers to someone or something associated with hilly regions. We also find it in occupational or behavioral context. For example, Mas Moria, which means fisherman. Mas Moria is morphologically a more complex word than Okhomia and Paharia. It consists of mas, meaning fish, and mar, which means catch or kill, and the suffix ia. This is not simple suffixation but a combination of a compound, that is masmar, and the derivational suffix ia. Here, the compound masmar does not make any sense. That means it does not have a valid semantic value or meaning in contemporary Assamese. The structure reflects a noun plus a verbal root followed by a derivational suffix, all within an Indo-Aryan framework. Mas is a noun, mar is a verb root, and ia is a derivational suffix. Together, they derive the word Mas Moria, which means fisherman. Let's use the derived words Okhomia and Paharia in sentences. Teo ejon Okhomia manu. That means he is an Assamese person. Teo Paharia jibonor hoite poricito. That means she or he is familiar with hill life. This suffix is particularly important because it encodes social and geographical identity, which is central to Assamese expression. Another important Assamese suffix is ok, which derives agentive nouns from verb and noun basis. It is equivalent to the English agentive marker or derivational suffix r or er, as in singer from the verb sing and farmer from the noun farm. The derived nouns refer to doers, performers, or participants in an activity. For example, the combination of the verb lik, means write, and the derivational suffix ok form the agentive noun likhok, which means writer. In this way, we can derive salok. Salok means driver, from the verb sola. Sola means drive. It also derives agentive nouns such as hikhok, meaning teacher, and khetiok, meaning farmer, from the noun root hikha, meaning education, and kheti, meaning cultivation. Let's have a couple of sentences using the derived words hikhok and khetiok. Teo egoraki hikhok. That means she or he is a teacher. And deuta khetiok, which means my father is a farmer. Let's now take the suffix a or wa that derives corresponding noun and adjective forms of verbs. The suffix a or wa derives verbal nouns and adjectives, allowing actions to be conceptualized as entities. This suffix is called nominalizer in Assamese grammar. For example, porha. Porha means reading. from the verb por, which means read. Likha, meaning writing, from the verb lik, which means write. Khua, khua means eating, from the verb kha, which means eat. Dekha, meaning seeing, from the verb dekh, which means see. And hika, meaning learning, from the verb hik, which means learn. Now let's use the noun and adjective forms of verbs, that is porha, likha, khua, dekha and hika. Porhatu eta bhal obhyak. That means reading is a good habit. Here obhyak means habit. Porhatu eta bhal obhyak. Likhatu eta sristishil prokriya. That means writing is a creative process. Here sristishil means creative and prokriya means process. Likhatu eta sristishil prokriya. Hika kamtu ketiao hek nohoy, which means learning never ends. Here hek means an end or finish. Hikatu ketiao hek nohoy. These suffixes, particularly a and wa, play a crucial role in Assamese word formation by converting verbs into verbal nouns and adjectives. This allows actions to be expressed as concepts, making them usable as subjects or objects in sentences. Such derivational processes are essential for both everyday communication and formal expression. Let's use the derived words, that is porha, likha, khua, dekha and hika as adjectives in the following sentences. Porha homoyot mobile nasaba. That means don't look at your phone while studying. Porha homoyot mobile nasaba. Teo likha kamote besto thake, which means she or he keeps busy writing. Here, besto means busy. Teo likha kamote besto thake. Aji dinot khua panir natoni hoisil, which literally means there was a shortage of drinking water during the day today. Here, natoni means scarcity or shortage. Aji dinot khua panir natoni hoisil. Tumi kali dekha manujon kun, which means who is the man you saw yesterday. Tumi kali dekha manujon kun. Mae agote shika kothabur amak koisil. That means my mother told us what she had learned earlier. Mae agote shika kothabur amak koisil. Apart from the negative prefixes that form or derive negative counterparts of verbs, there are several negative derivational prefixes in Assamese, such as ni, nir, and nik. In Assamese, one important way of forming opposite or negative meanings is through the use of derivational prefixes, particularly those beginning with the sound na. This include forms such as ni, nir, and nik. They are different allomorphs, that is, varieties of the same derivational prefix, that is equivalent to the English suffix less or word without. Unlike simple antonyms, where two unrelated words express opposite meanings, these prefixes allow us to systematically derive a negative meaning from a single base word. In most cases, they convey the sense of absence, lack, or removal of a quality. Let us look at some examples to understand how this process works. Using the prefix nir, we can derive the word nirbhoy, meaning fearless, from bhoy, meaning fear. In the same way, we can derive nirakha, meaning hopelessness, from akha, means hope. Nihobdo, meaning silent, from hobdo, which means sound. Nisartha, meaning selfless, from sartha, which means self-interest. We also find the slightly stronger form nih, which is often used before certain consonants like ka. For example, niskriya, meaning inactive, from kriya, which means action, and niskolanko, meaning spotless, from kolanko, which means stain. In these examples, nih expresses a complete absence of the base meaning, often giving a more formal or Sanskritic tone. It is important to note that the form of the prefix may vary slightly depending on the phonological environment. For instance, ni, nir, and nih are all related forms, and their variation is conditioned by sound patterns inherited from Sanskrit. However, their core function remains the same, to negate or reverse the meaning of the base word. From a linguistic perspective, this process is clearly derivational because it creates a new lexical item with a distinct meaning. In some cases, it also changes the semantic category, especially when abstract nouns are formed. To summarize, negative prefixes such as ni, nir, and nih are highly important in Assamese word formation. They provide a systematic way to express opposition, absence, or negation, and they are widely used in both spoken and written forms of the language. Mastery of these prefixes allows learners to expand vocabulary efficiently and understand wide range of expressions without memorizing each word individually. Coming to the suffix ta and its variant ota, we can derive abstract nouns from adjectives using this suffix. The suffix ta or ota is one of the most productive derivational suffixes in Assamese. It is primarily used to form abstract nouns from adjectives, expressing a quality, state, or degree. Through this process, a descriptive word is converted into a conceptual noun, making it suitable for formal expression and analysis. Ta co-occurs with adjectives ending in a vowel sound, whereas ota co-occurs with adjectives ending in a consonant sound. For example, horolota, meaning simplicity, from horol, which means simple. Here, horol is an adjective that becomes horolota, which is an abstract concept or noun referring to the quality of being simple. Thus, we can derive govirota, meaning depth, from govir, which means deep. Here, the derived noun govirota expresses the degree or extent of depth. Another example is ussota, meaning height, from usso, which means high. In this case, a physical or measurable quality, that is, usso, is converted into an abstract noun, that is, ussota. Thus, the suffix ta or ota plays a crucial role in Assamese by enabling speakers to move from concrete description to abstract expression. This makes it especially important in academic, descriptive, and literary context. Let's frame a couple of sentences using gobhirota and horolota. Tar kothat gobhirota ase. That means there is a depth in his speech. Tar kothat gobhirota ase. And ei kamtut horolota nai, which means there is no simplicity in this word. Ei kamtut horolota nai. Another Assamese derivational suffix is e. It is used in Assamese to derive adjectives from noun basis, typically expressing possession of a quality or characteristic. This suffix is largely of Sanskritic origin e and is found in many established lexical items. For example, begi means swift or fast, from the noun beg, which means speed. Dhoni means wealthy, from the noun dhan, means wealth. Gyani means knowledgeable or wise, from gyan, which means knowledge. And guni means virtuous or talented, from gun, which means quality or virtue. This suffix is not freely productive in modern Assamese, but occurs in a set of well-established lexical forms, mostly derived from Sanskrit. It plays an important role in expressing inherent qualities and attributes, especially in formal and literal usage. Let us now learn how the suffix oni derives new words in Assamese. This suffix is used in locative or area-based derivation. This is used in certain cases to derive nouns referring to a place or area associated with the base noun. These forms typically denote a location where something is grown, found, or characteristically present. This suffix is not highly productive, however, occurs in a number of established lexical items. For example, bahoni, which means bamboo grove or place where bamboos grow, from ba, means bamboo. Hakoni means vegetable parts or place where green leafy vegetables are grown, from hak, which means green leafy vegetables. Dhanoni means paddy field or place where paddy grows, from dhan, means paddy. Ghahoni, which means grassland or meadow, from gha, which means grass. We can frame a couple of sentences using a couple of derived words. For example, Hakonit bibhinno dhoroner hak poa jay. That means different kinds of green leafy vegetables are found in the vegetable parts. Hakonit bibhinno dhoroner hak poa jay. And dhanonit kam choli ase, which means work is going on in the paddy field. Let us learn two more Assamese derivational suffixes, namely oriya and ali. The suffix oriya is used in relational derivation, whereas ali is used in stage or life phase derivation. The suffix oriya in Assamese is used to derive nouns and adjectives that express association or relation with a particular place, environment, or context. It attaches directly to a nominal base and derives a new word. For example, logoria means companion, from log, means friend, and bonoria, wild, from bon, which means forest. The other Assamese suffix ali is used to derive nouns referring to a stage of life or experiential phase. However, this suffix is extremely limited in productivity and occurs only in a small number of established lexical items. For example, lorali means boyhood or childhood from lora, which means boy, as in loralir smriti hodai monot thake. That means memories of childhood always remain in the mind. Here are a few reasons why derivational morphology is key to fluency. Understanding derivational morphology allows learners to build vocabulary systematically, interpret unfamiliar words instantly, produce grammatically and semantically rich expressions, and bridge the gap between colloquial and formal Assamese. Please note that usually native speakers do not memorize every word, they internalize patterns. To conclude, derivational word formation is a fundamental component of Assamese linguistic structure. Through suffixes, Assamese constructs a rich and expressive vocabulary. Mastering these derivational processes is essential for achieving deeper linguistic competence and moving toward native-like fluency. In the outro, I encourage you to observe these patterns in real usage and practice forming new words actively. See you soon with another important Assamese learning video. Dhanyabad.